Hi everyone, this is Philippa at Flipcat Craft. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you part 2 of making a journal from scrapbook papers. If you remember from part 1, we have selected the papers and we have bound them together. Now, since I finished part 1, I've just done a couple of minor little things. I decided to round the corners and then I've inked up the front and back. And I did the corner rounding off camera because it's really difficult when you only got one hand that you can put pressure on, and it's very undignified. So I did that. I also cut up the pages that I showed you that had the cut aparts, and so they're here. And the one that I wasn't sure of what I was going to do with, that had all sort of the collaged images, I've cut them up and we'll see what happens with them. We may not use them all, but I thought some of them might be good for journal cards or decorative pieces. Now I have done one other thing. I had a bit of a think about it and I decided I wanted to make a little notebook to go in the center. And because my sewing's still really slow, I've done that off camera as well. So it's just a 3 pamphlet stitch, just a selection of papers, some coffee dyed, some not. An envelope that is on either side of the fold. I put a bit of cardstock on it. I've also used an offcut of paper from the back cover bit, and I'll show you why, and hopefully it'll work out the way that I'm expecting. Well, I'm hoping, but before I stick it in, I'm going to decorate that up, so we'll do that on camera as well. And yes, and because the papers are so brightly coloured, I do have quite a lot of neutrals and coffee dyed papers ready to go, just to break it up a bit. Otherwise you might have a bit of an overload, but we'll see how it all pans out. Don't have anything in particular planned. I've got some ideas, but I decided that we just play it a little bit by ear. Anyway, but I do know what I'm doing first, and that is going to put a little bit of lace down the front because I wanted to cover up this join, and I found some lace offcut from a different project, and so I'm just going to use my Helmer glue because it's a little bit dimensional. As I've said before, it's very similar to a glue gun without being a glue gun, and you just put it down. It dries clear, very easy. It's got a little bit of give so you can slide it around a bit, and it dries very quickly. Doesn't saturate the paper, whatever magic it is, I don't know, but I love it. And that just covers up the seam, but you can still see a little bit of that floral paper on the edge. And can I just say, this is the easiest bookbinding method ever. Really excited that I saw this. Just make sure I didn't get any glue on my fabulous scissors a little bit, but it kind of just rolls or scratches off, like rub it off. So yeah. Now I know I've seen some crafters who kind of rough up their lace a bit, and I do like that distressed look, but it also requires being more dexterous than I am right now, so that's why I haven't gone with that. So we'll set that aside to dry, although I'm just trying to decide what I want to put on the center here. And one of these images that was from the cut apart page, or that wasn't really cut apart, I cut it apart, was that one. It was a vertical one. Yeah, this one. I don't know. Maybe the car image. The car, I think, is not the right size. I guess I could overlap the lace a little bit and we can try, maybe not. Oh, you can see this, the car was there and I didn't want to mess up the wheel of the car. Can scrub that up a bit. That might go better on the back page or something, I'm not sure. And there was an aeroplane, or else we could just use one of these ones, but they were just straight advertising, I think. Where's the aeroplane? Kind of like that. I mean, it blends in a little bit at the moment, but if we ink up the edges, so let's just see how that goes. And this is why I've grabbed my neutrals as well, because as you can see, these pages are very full on. I mean, on the back you've got that, which is nice, but you know, I love the vintage transport images. Oh, that's a bit crooked. Let me straighten it up a bit. That's from me trying to go around the shape of the other images. This looks like a 1930s style, maybe 1920s, but style artwork of aeroplane, etc. Bit Art Deco, so maybe 1920s. So if I put a bit of coloured paper under there, or even it's just an example, I wouldn't use this one specifically, but something like that, just to break it up, that could work. I feel like it needs a bit of a pop of colour, so we've edged it with purple, still got a lot of yellow, so maybe something blue, even black, blue or black. Of course, something like that, but that's an ad, that's not the theme of transport. Look, this one might work, but I think it's not quite right. I might make this into like a side tuck or something inside. Okay. Okay. We'll get to that. So what do I want? Oh, I know. This is my corrugated cardstock. It came with a bit of furniture from, I think, IKEA. It is the cardstock that keeps on giving, in that I have so much of it, and I don't even know where I've put that thing now that I inked up. So I can do that. That breaks up the background a bit and gives it a bit of texture. So yeah, this lasted me a long time. There's a lot of it. I think it was from the bookcase where I've got all my crafting stuff. Oh, that particular bit's no good. We'll go to a different bit. Okay, so as you can see, I have stuck down the corrugated card, and I actually, rather than blue, I decided to add a little bit of fired brick at this point. And I've also added a little bit of rose gold metallic wax, mostly because rose gold is the colour that I have. It would be nice to have a bit more gold, but I don't have that. I used to, but not in that brand, a different brand, but it all, you know, dried up. So I will probably add some more embellishments later, but I want to be able to open it flat, so that's what I'll do for now. Leave that there for now. Right, so this is our first page. Now this page doesn't have a pocket, so I'm not looking for things to tuck in. What I thought I would do, I've just put it down, so much mess. I wanted to use this and possibly this. Now I'm thinking 2 small pockets and 1 side tuck. So yeah, it's better to have a side tuck here because I want him looking across the page. All right, so I guess we'll have to just do a little bit more. working. I'm going to round these corners because the top one's practically rounded anyway because of the way I had to cut it out. And this one here. Now, that black on black is quite dark, so I might line that with a bit of lace. But I don't have any more of the lace I've used on the front, so I'll use this one, which has a pom-pom design, which I really like. Oh, so, well, I'm just going to kind of do it along there. And that just indicates that it is a pocket. Well, it does to me, hopefully. It does to other people too. So by doing this, I'm kind of not going to be able to stick it down right away, but I'll let the glue dry. Oops. So I'll let that glue dry, and then we can stick that down as a side pocket, and I'll just glue there and probably 2/3 of the way, maybe a little bit more, but I don't want to get too close to that edge because I don't want it to rip as people, you know, use it. Oh, I mucked that up. Move that aside. I think I'm gonna have to get a different bit of paper. Anyway, now for here, this side, I've got this strip left, and it's actually the same as the front cover. And what I thought I would do is create 2 smaller pockets. So basically cut this in half. And even that up a little bit. And these are going to be spots that we can put one down the bottom and one there. And they're separate pockets, so they're not going to layer them. And I'm actually going to round the corners just because of the bottom and top corners, around the corners of the journal. I won't do this necessarily with all of them, but for this particular one, because it's going close to the curve of the page, I just think it will look better. Now, here's my little hole punch. I've seen that some people have actually marked their hole punches so that when you turn it upside down, you can see where to place it for the perfect cut. I haven't done that, probably should. And I did that wrong. I was supposed to punch both of them together so that they came out the same. Let's see if I can salvage that. That looks reasonable. Now, if this was actually one of the other papers, I would do at least one of them reversed, but because that's actually the same paper, that's why I'm doing it this way. And we are going to just ink around it again. To get some fresh. Actually, I might switch, and I'm going to use fired brick. Just as a bit of a contrast to the pages and things that I'm doing, like around the main pages and things. Which makes it stand out quite nicely. I'm just going to glue these two down. I was speculating with someone what is in this glue because it does dry really quickly and doesn't, and we think maybe it's like something like acetone, which would explain the smell, and that starts evaporating as soon as air gets to it, and that's why it doesn't get the paper too wet, etc. And that's purely speculation. I have no idea, but it does really smell like a glue gun, and that's why you've got these strings as well. That's to do with like possibly to do with evaporation. I'm not very good with glue guns. I've got a hot glue gun and I've got what they call a low temp glue gun, which is still hot. It's just not as hot as a hot glue gun, and I just really can't get them to work. One stick goes through and then it stops, and then the next one doesn't go through, and I can't work out what on earth I'm doing wrong. But we'll leave that for another time, I guess. Alright, so I reckon about there. That still closes that way, that still closes that way. Everyone's happy. Now I just had a thought. This is the punch I mentioned I bought a couple of weeks ago. I absolutely love it. I've been punching out tags with abandon. But I wonder if I can do a corrugated card tag or if it's going to be too thick. Would you look at that? I won't do it for now. But I shall be doing a few more of those, and I will add them in to the pockets when they're dry. Now over here, what am I going to do? I think we need a few journal cards. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to stick this in. I'll finish decorating and stick this in. So my plan is to stick this in to the center so that it'll be like that. I did have to trim the notebook a little bit because I had made it for a different project, then I didn't end up using it. But I've added the craft cardstock, and then I've got all the different pages. But I think that if I stick it down, because you won't see this, that'll be stuck down, but you will see this, which is why I chose this side, because I thought the brown bicycles are really lovely, and also on the back cover, so you won't get to see them much else. So I thought it'd be fun to decorate up the front cover a little bit. Just get this face out of the way. Things everywhere. I love this boat image. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might put it in a pocket. That would be good. Like I could tuck it in. Probably not this one. Be a bit big. Oh, unless I didn't glue. Unless I just glued that and that. And I guess that's an option. This is one I cut off from the same strip as well. I'd like to use this as a belly band, but I'll see how it goes when I get to that page. So I think I need to layer a paper on here, not something thick, but paper, and then put an image on top. So I'm just looking at what I've got here in terms of the copy. Maybe dictionary page. I've got something. ink this up a little bit, and I will use walnut stain with this one. So I'll test here's a little off the top. Bottom. Oh no, the bottom's a bit torn already because it's where it was in the centre of the. I'm really not very good at this kind of inking, especially at the moment when I don't have much movement with my arm. But this paper is really fine, so I can't do the other kind of inking that I do, just holding it and just going around the edges. Do this with a glue stick. I haven't learned my lesson with papers like this. Do not put wet glue anywhere near them. It's a disaster. The reason I'm doing this, again, it's neutrals. It's just to kind of break up the explosion of colour with the other pages. And I love the explosion of colour. That's not a criticism. It's just an acknowledgement that it's very bright, which makes it a little bit difficult to just add things to. Alright, so that's that. Now, I just decided which image I was going to use and then I put it down. So, all running as per usual then. So I think maybe, oh I see that's two, that's a ship. Oh, that's a train. Do a train. Okay, so I'm going to go with this again, picking up that accent colour on the train. Now, got another offcut of lace. I think that works, maybe not. Got this offcut of lace. Yeah, I think that one works. Doesn't go the full length, so I'm just going to center it a little bit and stretch it. That's good. And then we don't have to wait for this one to dry. I'm just going to glue stick it. Oh, actually that's really cool because just now that you can see Birmingham and Billingsgate, they're two suburbs in the UK, or cities in the UK. And this is Bournemouth, so, you know, we're in the B's. And that's serendipity, but, you know, it looks like it could have been planned. So push all that down. And I just moved it slightly off center so that you could see the Birmingham. Now, inside cover, I was thinking of just using one of these little strips. Maybe this one. You can either do it in the middle as a belly band, or we can do it on the, yeah, let's do it in the middle. Now I'm going to just fold up the end. Okay, so I have folded both ends and I trimmed the top because it was a bit long. And now I'm gluing the folded bit, getting strings everywhere. And I'm off. And now I'm going to put down, I'm going to do it, yep, this way. So that's a belly band on the inside cover. I also decided to round the corners while I was off camera, so that it fits with the rest of the journal, but I'm not rounding the pages, and that's okay because there's a little bit of overlap in the cover. So I'll just hold this down for a second. And we can just tuck something in here. What's that? Probably a tag or something, but just as an example for now, like that. So we've got a nice cover with a belly band there. I'm going to put a pocket here. So do we have one of these images that could be used as a back pocket? Okay, so these are obviously advertisements. All right, I want to put these on the back. I'm just going to trim this slightly. That'll fit there. There's another dictionary page. And this one says Binghamton and Bingley, so I guess that'll do. Amongst other things. I'll do it that way. It's a weird shape, isn't it? Just kind of make it less weird looking. All things a bit of a disaster. All right, that's right. Put it over the top. I want to do it this way. No, I'm not feeling that. Maybe some music. Yeah. Some music off Etsy, which was great. But they all had words and I was looking for music without words, so that was a bit disappointing. And as someone who is musically trained, there's something holding me back from purchasing, you know, old musical scores and myself and cutting them up. Spent many years in orchestra and also did performance for my high school certificate. So there's like there's a part of me that's like, no, I can't. But yeah, that works, I think. Just maybe do a little bit of red around the edges. However, I did show Dad one of my junk journals and the envelope that was lined with music, and he just paused for a minute and then he said, because I thought I was going to get into so much trouble because he is a concert pianist by training, although he was never professional, and over the last few years he has been making CDs, recordings of his music. And I guess if I ever wanted to do just a craft with me without any speaking, I could play some of his music, because I know the artist and I could get his permission. Anyway, he just kind of looked at it and said, oh, well, I've got a lot of sheet music from all my recording sessions. So I was like, oh, well, I guess if you don't want that piano music anymore, I could help you out there. Which surprised me because I thought he would be very unhappy with me cutting up music, but I guess he's even more of a hoarder than I am and knows that he has a problem. So it helps getting rid of things, moving them on to other people. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Right. I may need to do a stronger glue, but I think that's okay. I grabbed a whole lot of tea stain stuff, or coffee stain stuff, so that's why I've got papers everywhere. I thought, oh, I might need that, and there you go. So here is a string of coffee stained tags, and I'll just snip that off, and will that fit in there? Oh, that one's a bit big. It'll probably go in the back cover if I do tuck spot. Maybe not. Maybe this is destined for a different place. That's all right. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is glue this in. Now the idea is that you put it there and there. And then you can close it. And the reason I do it this way is because I'd already bound the book. When I say bound, I glued all the pages together. I didn't want to have to push the needle through all of that. So I put the needle into that and created essentially a large tab to stick in. Now I'm going to use a different glue this time. No, maybe I'll use this one. I was going to use my collage medium, but I think this one will probably dry quicker. And, well, I know it'll dry quick. So I've just used my Helmer, I will never remember this, Helmer Quick Dry Adhesive 450. I'm going to put this in here and then close it. And that will allow that to be in the right spot. And then we'll open it so that it doesn't stick the pages together. It's not in quite the right spot here. Should use collage medium. I just find collage medium can slip a bit, but I guess in this case I did need it to slip a bit. But now it is in the fold. Alright, so there is my notebook. So you can flip the page and you find a stuck-in notebook. Like that. So I just wanted to put a tuck there, side tuck. Maybe. In case you didn't get it, spokeswoman is a joke because it's a woman with spokes on her bike. It's a terrible joke, but a joke nonetheless. Just going to tear that off that way. Now that I've told all that, I'm hoping this will work. And we can just put a pocket there. And it's going to be slid into there. I think that'll work. And do you want this one red or purple? I think we'll keep going with the red on this one. Tear across the top a bit too. It's not quite so uniform. there is our pocket. I'll just glue that down. So that can dry now. Now what I wanted to do is make a little flip pad. And got some offcuts from a different project, some coffee dyed papers, and just them in half. Yeah, that'll be a good size. You can see they're all the same width because they were, I cut them up to make another project. Alright, so I'm going to just cut there. I'm going to see if I can use one of these as a, no, that's not. I think that's going to work. So, oh, I've got some more craft. Yeah, that'll work. Or we can, how did I do it before? Just stapled it and then had a flip over or a strip over the top like this. Oh, the other one, no. What's the offcut I had before? Be like that. That's not wide enough. This one maybe, yeah, like that. I reckon that'll work. So we'll miss out on the car, but the car would be upside down anyway if we turned it around. Let me just check the pages. Make sure the, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's all good. Where's the stapler is here. Okay, and I'm going to glue that down to cover the staples. Everything's currently drying, so I might leave that there and we will do part 3. And I didn't think there was going to be a part 3. I thought I'd finish everything this time, but I guess I was overly ambitious. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and sorry about the mess. Gets a bit like that sometimes. Like, comment, subscribe, and look forward to catching up with you in part 3, and hopefully I will finish then. Catch you next time. Bye.